Ever wonder why ancient jobs were such a drag? Let's dive into the world of the Nightsoil Crew in ancient China. Interested in writing for us? Check out the submission guidelines in the description or comments below. Now, let's get into it. Sanitation workers have the worst jobs, even in ancient times. You must be up before the sun, carrying smelly buckets, taking care of business. All that hard work for very little pay. No wonder so many people hate this job. Even worse if you were part of the Nightsoil Crew. Not only do you do all that stuff we mentioned, but you also face social scorn and risk injury or death. So let's explore why being the Nightsoil Crew in ancient China was an absolute nightmare. Pre-dawn awakening. You rise while the sky still trembles between moonlight and dawn. There is no rooster's crow, only the muffled stir of constables making their rounds. Each breath tastes of lingering incense from distant temples and the faint tang of damp earth. With each step, your wooden sandals whisper against cobblestones, slick with overnight mist. The Nightsoil Crew had to get up really early, before the sun even thought about rising. While the rest of the world slept, you were already out, making your way through the silent city. The streets were dark and dangerous, and there was no one else around to help you. If you were attacked, no one would hear you scream. You moved through the empty streets, the only sound the squish of your sandals on the wet stones. But the quiet wasn't peaceful. It was thick with danger. The yoke and bamboo buckets. At the city gate, you have to split bamboo yoke onto your shoulders. Two buckets hang at either end, dark, rounded vessels once scrubbed smooth by centuries of use. You can feel their weight shift with every move, promising strain in your shoulders. A reminder that comfort is a luxury you cannot afford. When you got to the city gates, it was time to get to work. You put on your big, heavy baskets, slung over your shoulders. These things were huge, holding all the waste from the homes and businesses you visited. They were also really heavy, and you had to carry them all day. Olfactory assault. As you enter quieter lanes, odors rise in waves. Stale urine mingled with the sharp bite of human waste, softened by the distant scent of simmering rice porridge. You imagine it like fermented rice wine carried on a warm breeze, an assault on the senses that demands your full attention, lest you falter. As you move through the narrow streets, the smells hit you like a wall. Stale pea mixed with the strong stench of poop, but in the distance you could smell the nice aroma of rice porridge. This made your stomach rumble, but you knew you couldn't stop. You had to keep moving. The smells were so bad that it felt like someone was attacking you with stinky farts. It was hard not to gag, and if you did, well, you might puke your brains out. That's how bad it was. Stops and starts. For hours you pause at hidden privies framed by bamboo screens. The ritual is precise. Tip the bucket, sway backward, and release the load into the Nightsoil cart waiting below. No words are exchanged, only the creak of wood and your measured exhalations. Your journey through the city led you to secret bathroom spots, hidden behind tall bamboo walls. The rules were simple. You had to tip your bucket, move back, and let the contents hit the waiting cart below. It was a delicate dance. You needed to get as much out as possible without spilling a drop. This went on for hours. You emptied bucket after bucket, all while trying not to breathe too deeply. The air was thick with disease and decay, and you didn't want to breathe it in. You just kept swaying and breathing out slowly, trying to stay calm. Minimal rations and solitude. A crust of dried sweat clings to your skin. Your throat is a desert of thirst. Your only sustenance, a chunk of millet flatbread and watered-down tea, a meager offering to stave off the gnawing emptiness until the next stop. Hours melt into a lonely vigil. You didn't get paid much, so you had to bring your own food. Usually it was a piece of flatbread and some weak tea. This wasn't enough to keep you full, but it was better than nothing. And because you were always moving from house to house, you couldn't really take a break. You worked alone, moving from room to room, emptying buckets and getting further and further away from home. You were a shadow in the night, unseen and unnoticed. Social scorn. Whispers follow you like wraiths. Nightsoil man, they hiss. The word's a curse more than a descriptor. Doors are shut against you, bolted against your approach. Children tug on their mother's skirts, pointing with sticky fingers. Their laughter echoes in your wake, a taunt you cannot outrun. Sadly, people didn't think much of you. They called you nasty names and tried to avoid you. It hurt your feelings and made you feel bad about yourself, but you had to keep going. You couldn't let a few mean words slow you down. You had a job to do and a city to clean. Enduring the invisible. Finally, as the first blush of sunlight kisses the rooftops, you reach the limits of your route. The buckets are lighter now, your muscles throb with a dull ache, and the city's stench has seeped into your bones. You melt into the throngs of robed scholars and lacquered sedan chairs. Your work done, unseen, unknown, yet the Empire's lifeblood coursing through the veins of the city you inhabit. When the sun finally peeked over the horizon, it was time to head home. Your buckets were almost empty by now, but your body ached from carrying their weight. You'd breathed in the city's smells so deeply that they felt like a second skin. You walked among the scholars and officials, your work done, though they'd never know it. You were invisible, but your job was vital. Without you, the city couldn't function. You were the silent hero, keeping the streets clean so everyone else could live their lives. And that's all for this episode. Why did ancient jobs suck? Sanitation Worker Edition. Don't forget to share your ideas for future episodes in the comments below. See you later. Ah, there's the poet governor. Let's go say hello. Hold, please. Mysterious Ascendancy, Chapter 2, Episode 6, Segment 2. Biography, Sudongpo's Civic Reforms. Last time we saw our hero, he was winning over the hearts and minds of Hangzhou's population with his poetry. Now let's see how he won over their stomachs. Walk alongside the famed poet governor as he transforms sanitation into civic virtue. You wake before the sun, drawn by an unseen force to the courtyard where Sudongpo already stands. The sky is filled with pear blossoms, their pale light filtering through the branches. Your eyes, still heavy with sleep, follow his figure as he moves among the trees. The soft whisper of his robes against the stone is the only sound that dares break the stillness. With each measured step, he seems to drink in the essence of the space around him, his eyes noting every neglected drain. every latrine that has become a stagnant pool of foul-smelling water. In the distance, a rooster crows, announcing the start of a brand new day. And you realize that for Su Dongpo, there is no such thing as a morning that doesn't call for action. He stops by a cluster of bamboo screens, the woven walls forming a low barrier between the privy and the blossoming pear trees. In his hand, he holds a small clay jar filled with a fine white powder, the color of dawn mist or freshly fallen snow. With a gentle flick of his wrist, he uncaps the jar and sprinkles the powder into the air, the tiny particles dancing in the pale light before settling around him like a soft, pure halo. Even before the powder drifts on the wind, you can smell its subtle citrus-like sharpness, a promise of fresh air and cleanliness. Without breaking his calm gaze, he murmurs a verse from memory, his voice a low thrum in the quiet morning. Sprinkle quicklime powder fine, purify the air, and make all things clean. It is a simple ritual, yet in this moment it feels like the very essence of renewal. As the sky brightens and the first hints of sunlight touch the rooftops, you know that the rest of the city is stirring too. But here, in this secluded corner of the courtyard, there is a hush so profound that you can almost hear the latrines sigh in relief. As the day lengthens and the sun climbs higher in the sky, you find yourself drawn to the heart of Hong Xiu, to the Grand Council Hall where Su Dongpo is to meet with the city's magistrates. You weave through the crowds, your senses awakening to the sights and sounds of a bustling city coming to life. As you near the hall, the murmur of voices grows louder, carrying with it the scent of sandalwood incense and the metallic tang of roasted chestnut. When you step inside, the air is thick with the weight of tradition and power. Lacquered pillars soar towards the high vaulted ceiling, adorned with intricate paintings of dragons and phoenixes dancing among clouds and lotuses. On one side of the vast hall sits Su Dongpo, his posture radiating quiet authority. His soft voice cuts through the hushed atmosphere like the stroke of a finely honed blade. He speaks not of lofty ideals or abstract principles, but of the concrete realities of public health and civic duty. Every word is carefully measured, each syllable carrying the weight of careful consideration and experience. There are times when his gaze pierces through the veils of convention, fixing those who would disregard their responsibilities to the people they serve. Yet even in these moments there is no rancor, only the quiet disappointment of one who sees the potential for good being squandered. Opposite him, the magistrates lean forward, their expressions shifting from mild curiosity to dawning understanding. You see their shoulders straighten, their eyes clearing, as the implications of his words sink in. Some nod, others frown in thought, their faces illuminated by the soft glow of oil lamps hanging from the rafters. Outside, the wind whispers tales of spring blossoms and new beginnings, and within these four walls, something similar is taking root. A shift in perspective, a dawning realization that true strength lies not in the ruthless pursuit of power, but in the quiet courage of doing what is right. The sun climbs higher, bathing the city in its warm glow as you return to the magistrate's office. Inside, Su Dongpo is hunched over a long table, his brow furrowed in concentration as he studies a scroll. At his side, a young apprentice busies himself with brushes and ink, carefully copying the magistrate's orders. As you approach, Su Dongpo lifts his head, a ghost of a smile touching his lips. "Ah, you've returned," he says, his voice as calm and steady as the mountains. "Have you seen the new carts?" he asks, his eyes twinkling with amusement. Before you can respond, a procession of ox carts enters the courtyard, each one fitted with a polished bronze handle and a bucket suspended from a wooden frame. The buckets are sealed tight, their contents hidden from view. You feel the steady thump of their wheels against the cobblestones, a rhythmic cadence that speaks of order and efficiency. Sudongpo rises from the table, his movements fluid despite his age, and walks toward the carts. He runs a hand along the cool metal of one of the handles, his fingers lingering on the smooth surface. "These are the answer to our prayers," he murmurs more to himself than anyone else. "No more overflowing buckets, no more pungent night soil polluting our streets." He turns to face you, his gaze earnest. "Under my guidance, the city workers are learning the way of the lime swab and the well-ventilated privy. Each step is measured, each movement purposeful, all in service of the greater good," he says, his voice ringing with quiet confidence. "It may seem like a small thing, but believe me, its impact will be immeasurable. Cleaner streets mean fewer diseases, healthier citizens, and a stronger Hanjiu," he states, his eyes gleaming with conviction. As you watch, he gestures toward the carts. "Take a closer look," he invites, a hint of pride in his voice. "Feel the steadiness of the wheels under your hand, the weight of the sealed buckets that will trap foul odors no longer wafting through our city." He pauses, letting the implications sink in. "These humble carts may seem like a simple innovation, but they are the result of countless observations and careful planning," he explains, his tone thoughtful. "Every detail has been considered, from the placement of the handles to the type of wood used for the frames. Nothing is left to chance," he adds, a hint of a smile playing on his lips. You look out over the city once more, noticing the changes wrought by Sudongpo's quiet determination. In the distance, you hear the laughter of children playing at the market, their joy echoing through the air. You remember when the market was a place to be avoided, the stench of stale waste turning shoppers away. Now the stalls are laden with fresh produce, and the air is sweet with the scent of blooming flowers and ripening fruit. Above, colorful kites dance in the wind, chasing each other across the cloudless sky like playful spirits. The rain from yesterday has washed the cobblestones clean, leaving the city glistening in the sunlight. Lives are extending. You see mothers cradling infants close, their eyes shining with gratitude as they pass by. The rhythmic creak of a nearby well contrasts with the hushed breaths of those who no longer suffer from fevers and wasting illnesses. You turn back to Sudongpo, a newfound understanding dawning within you. His innovations might seem like small victories, but they are paving the way for lasting change. Brick by sanitized brick, bucket by well-sealed bucket. As evening shadows lengthen and the sun dips below the horizon, you find yourself once again in the tranquil embrace of Sudongpo's courtyard. The air is filled with the fragrance of blooming lotus and the gentle hum of insects. The sky is a canvas of soft pinks and oranges, the colors of a poet's heart. You and Sudongpo stand side by side, leaning on a carved stone railing that overlooks a pond filled with graceful lotuses. Their white blossoms seem to glow in the fading light, mirroring the serenity in your chest. Harmony begins with simple acts, he murmurs, his voice a low thrum in the gathering dusk. He turns to you, his eyes filled with quiet wisdom. When the smallest details of our surroundings are attended to with care and mindfulness, it creates a ripple effect, he explains, his gaze drifting back to the lotuses. Clean water, fresh air, a well-ordered city. These are not mere conveniences. They are the very foundation of a thriving community, he adds, a hint of steel in his soft voice. As darkness falls and fireflies begin their evening dance, you realize that Su Dongpo's reforms are like lanterns in the night, illuminating the path from squalor to dignity, one well-ventilated room at a time. His legacy is woven into the fabric of Honshu, a testament to the quiet revolution that can be sparked by a single individual's dedication to the common good. But even as you bask in the afterglow of his achievements, a sense of foreboding stirs within you. The city's transformation is not without its adversaries. In the shadowed corners of this beautiful city, a conspiracy is brewing, a threat to Su Dongpo's hard-won reforms and the tranquility that has returned to Hangzhou. And now the scene shifts, the sun dipping below the horizon and casting long shadows across the land. The mysterious ascendancy will continue after a brief intermission. What secrets lie buried beneath the cobblestones of Hangzhou? Who are the forces determined to snuff out Su Dongpo's reforms? And how far will our hero go to protect his legacy? Find out in the next episode. Until then, please enjoy the rest of the bonus episode. We all know about normal garden soil, right? It's for planting stuff in, but have you ever heard of fermentation pits? These strange sunken circles aren't just cool to look at. They were designed to make plants go crazy. And that's no exaggeration. See? It turns out what happens down here has a lot to do with what happens up there. And now we're going to need you to do something very important. Just make sure you hit that like button. Now let's get back to our story. Key idea. Unearth hidden cisterns where slow fermentation enriched the soil, birthing extraordinary harvests. Welcome to the third segment of our elite journey. We've meandered through bamboo groves, sailed across moonlit seas, and now find ourselves amidst ruins overgrown with moss and vine. Here in the tangled embrace of nature's recovery, we glimpse the remnants of an age-old agricultural marvel. Our quest today leads us to uncover the secrets of fermentation pits, silent sentinels of a bygone era. Imagine a walk through a mist-kissed landscape when suddenly your eyes catch sight of a peculiar formation half-shrouded by emerald green moss. It's a circular earthen pit, its edges softened by time and covered in a carpet of verdant vegetation. Curiosity piqued, you part the leafy curtain, revealing a hollow ring of worn tiles. This isn't just a random feature in the landscape. It's a window into the ingenious agricultural practices of a forgotten past. But what secrets lie hidden beneath these moss-clad tiles? And how can they teach us about the forgotten art of growing extraordinary crops? Let's find out. Hidden below the surface, as you descend into the cool embrace of the pit, the air grows fragrant with the scent of damp leaf mold and a faint vinegar tang. With each step, you feel as though you're retracing the footsteps of generations past. Sunlight filters down through the trees, dappling the earthen floor in patches of warm light and shadow. Your eyes adjust to the dimness, revealing the true extent of this subterranean marvel. The walls of the pit are layered with fine grains of weathered rock and soil, a testament to countless seasons of patient cultivation. Then you notice something more, tiny fragments nestled in the soil that seem strangely familiar. With careful hands, you brush away the clinging earth, revealing small, aged pieces of rice husks and crushed soybean skins. Holding these crumbly fragments, you can almost sense the warmth and purpose they once held. Each grain tells a story of transformation, a silent narrative of a time when the earth itself pulsed with a rhythm of fermentation. These humble remnants are the key to understanding the magic that unfolded within these hidden pits. The whispered tales of an era when farmers harnessed the power of nature to create extraordinary harvests. First glimpse of ancient practice. Your exploration continues, leading you deeper into the mysteries of the fermentation pit. As you move further into this subterranean realm, the first rays of morning light begin to filter down, illuminating the pit in a soft, ethereal glow. It's then that you spot something truly intriguing, a collection of soil samples, each one containing a unique treasure. With gentle hands, you sift through the soil, your fingers working with the patience of seasoned archaeologists. And then you feel it, a subtle crunch that signals the presence of something special. Carefully extracting the precious finds, you realize you're holding fragments of a long-forgotten practice. These soil samples aren't just dirt. They're capsules of history, each particle echoing with the whispers of the past. Now let's see what you found. Oh, what treasures await our discovery. These aren't ordinary pebbles or soil aggregates. No, they're tangible links to the agricultural ingenuity of a bygone era. Imagine running your fingers over the rough texture of a water-worn stone, feeling its smoothness a testament to countless seasons of patient cultivation. Picture the soil clinging to its surface, not just dirt, but living, breathing earth teeming with life. In each handful, you might find a tiny seed or a fragment of a broken pot, each item weaving a rich tapestry of history. As you continue your exploration, the pit reveals its secrets. Slowly but surely, you piece together the story of this forgotten place. The fermentation process. The sun climbs higher, casting long shadows as you stand at the heart of the pit. All around you are signs of a process long past, yet its effects linger, whispering tales of an age-old art. You see, this isn't just a simple hole in the ground. It's a silent witness to a remarkable transformation. A layer cake of sorts, but not of sweet cream and sugar. No, here the ingredients were different, yet the result was just as delicious. Imagine the pit as a vast kitchen, where instead of flour and butter, the recipe called for vegetable scraps, rice porridge, and even animal manure. These unlikely components were layered, packed tight, and left to mingle in a dance of decay and rebirth. Over the slow passage of months, a hidden army of microbes marched through the mash, breaking down hard particles into soluble nutrients. It was a symphony of tiny organisms working in harmony, creating a nutrient-rich bread for any plant. Now close your eyes for a moment and listen closely. Can you almost hear the soft hiss of gas escaping? Like a whispered secret, it speaks of a time when this pit was alive with the murmurings of nature's unseen wonders. Agricultural alchemy. As the afternoon sun bathes the landscape in warm hues, you emerge from the pit, carrying with you the essence of its secrets. Above you, the sky is a canvas of endless blue, dotted with puffy white clouds drifting lazily overhead. You take a deep breath, feeling rejuvenated by the pit's ancient wisdom, ready to apply its lessons to the world beyond. So you head towards the fields, eager to see the results of this hidden alchemy. And what a sight greets your eyes! Lush rice paddies glisten in the distance, their stalks so robust they bow under their own weight. The plants are a sea of green, rustling softly in the gentle breeze. It's a landscape made fertile by the very same magic that unfolded in the silent depths of the pit. Imagine walking through those fields at dawn, your ears brushing the dew-soaked blades. With each step, you feel the cool moisture on your skin, a reminder of the life-giving power hidden beneath the soil. The plants stand tall, bearing witness to the legacy of the fermentation pits, their roots nourished by the very essence of ages past. In this tranquil setting, you find a sense of peace, a connection to the earth and its rhythms that feels profound. The pits may be hidden from view, but their impact on the land is undeniable. Their legacy lives on in every fertile field, every bountiful harvest, a testament to the enduring power of nature's alchemy. Lingering questions, as twilight begins to paint the sky in hues of purple and orange, you stand at the edge of the fields, your gaze sweeping across the horizon. The day's journey has been long, filled with discoveries that both amazed and mystified. The fermentation pits have revealed their secrets, yet new questions arise, teasing at the boundaries of what you can comprehend. One question lingers on your lips. Who were the masterminds behind these fermentation chambers? Were they the creations of nameless farmers seeking to feed their communities? Or were they part of a grander design, a ritualistic ceremony binding the people to the earth's cycles? Perhaps the answer lies buried beneath the soil, waiting to be unearthed. But for now, the pits remain mute, offering only fragments of a story half told. Transition to elite. With a final glance at the enigmatic pits, you turn towards the beckoning pavilion. The path ahead leads you through a world of refinement, a sanctuary where nature's embrace meets human elegance. Sunlight filters delicately through orchid-laced curtains, casting intricate patterns on the polished stone floor. The air is heavy with the fragrance of blooming jasmine, and the distant sound of a bamboo flute drifts on the gentle breeze. You step inside, leaving the mysteries of the fermentation pits at the threshold, ready to immerse yourself in the serene beauty that awaits. It's time for a luxurious respite, a chance to unwind and let the stresses of the world melt away. Sink into the plush cushions and let the cool marble soothe your skin. Close your eyes and breathe deeply, savoring the tranquility that envelops you like a warm embrace. You are here now, far from the bustling crowds and the clamor of everyday life, cocooned off in a private haven of peace. For a moment, allow yourself to be pampered, to indulge in the simple pleasure of doing nothing. Let the gentle rocking of the cradle and the soft melody lull you into a state of blissful relaxation. Embrace the present moment, cherishing the serenity that surrounds you. Your adventure continues, promising more wonders and revelations. But for now, rest, rejuvenate, and prepare to dive deeper into the mysteries that await. Hey, thanks for watching this episode. If you enjoyed this journey through time and discovery, don't forget to show your support. Your likes fuel our journey, helping us bring more captivating stories to life. So keep exploring with us, and who knows where our adventures will take us next. The squawk of roosters fades into the rising sun. Another day begins in the imperial city. You follow the scent of fresh lime wash and distant jasmine. It mingles with the sound of water features and bird song. Following this subtle symphony, you arrive at a scene of utter tranquility. Ahead, paths of polished stone wend between exquisite gardens. Above, lacquered beams are painted with cloud motifs. And within, scholars at leisure lose themselves in lofty conversation or the soothing strum of a bouquin. This is your sanctuary, an orchid-scented haven worlds, apart from the hidden privies where laborers cleanse themselves before the workday begins. For now, stand among these refined scholar officials and let the lingering scent of night jasmine mingle with the fresh lime wash, carrying you away to a world of calm. As the gate slides back, you step through the vermilion gates. Sunlight glints off the polished stone path ahead. To your left, a low wall encloses a meticulously raked gravel garden, a miniature landscape of stones and moss. It feels timeless, untouched by the city's bustling life. To your right, a pair of stone lanterns stand sentinel beside the entrance, hinting at the tranquil scenes they guard. You pass beneath the first of many lacquered beams. They're painted with swirling clouds and mythical beasts, each stroke imbued with meaning and precision. The wood's rich scent mingles with the subtle fragrance of lime wash, creating a heady perfume that speaks of quiet contemplation and refinement. You continue on the path, your steps echoing softly on the smooth surface. With each footfall, the sounds of the city fade into a hushed murmur. You are enveloped by a sense of serene detachment, carried away from the everyday concerns that await beyond these tranquil gates. Reaching a fork in the path, you turn left, drawn towards the sight of rows upon rows of slender orchids swaying gently in a bamboo trellis. A cool breeze carries their sweet scent, mingling it with the fragrance of fresh lime wash and the distant water features. The air is still, heavy with humidity and the promise of a coming rain. You pause, inhaling deeply, letting the orchid's essence soothe your senses and transport you to this serene moment. As you move on, you notice small details, the carefully placed stones, the sound of bird song echoing through the trees. All around you, nature's symphony plays out, composing a world away from the city's clamor and cares. You emerge into a courtyard where a lone scholar reclines on a carved wooden bench. Beside him, a small table holds a teapot and two cups, one occupied by the scholar and the other steaming patiently beside him. He takes a sip, his eyes half closed in peaceful contemplation. His simple act of preparing and sipping tea seems imbued with a profound tranquility, a meditation in itself. In the distance, the glint of sunlight on water draws your attention to a pavilion nestled amidst the trees. There, beside a pool, a musician sits cross-legged on a low platform. His gnarled hands dance across the strings of a bouquin, coaxing out a melody that seems to float on the water's surface. The notes are slow, deliberate, each pluck resonating with a deep, resonant tone. You imagine the vibration under your fingertips, the hush that follows every chord. The music drifts through the trees, weaving itself into the rustling leaves and the babbling of a nearby fountain. It's a sound that speaks of ages past, of ancient traditions, and timeless elegance. You find yourself drawn to the music, making your way to the pavilion with steps both light and slow. The image of the musician, framed by the graceful sweep of his chin, lingers in your mind. As you approach, you notice small details, the intricate carvings on the wooden pillars, the soft glow of sunlight filtering through the trees. You pause, taking it all in, the quiet beauty of the scene and the haunting strains of the chin. In another corner of the courtyard, a row of private latrines stands discreetly behind silk screens. Each screen is hand-painted with a scene of bamboo groves or flowering vines, transforming what might be considered mundane into an aesthetic experience. The screens serve a dual purpose, providing privacy and creating an ethereal backdrop. The doors to the latrines remain closed, their presence known only through the painted screens that adorn them. It's a testament to the status and separation afforded to even the most menial tasks when it comes to those in power. You turn back to the orchestra, their intoxicating set a constant companion. Some blooms are open, revealing intricate petals in hues of lavender and white, while others are tightly furled, teasing glimpses of what they will become. You reach out, your fingers brushing against the cool smoothness of a petal. In that instant, you feel utterly connected to this place, to the flowers, to the very essence of this serene world. And then you see it, a small gathering of scholars seated on elegant chairs beneath a gracefully curved roof. Their postures are relaxed, their gazes either turned towards the orchids or lost in contemplation. Their leader holds a scroll, its contents perhaps the subject of their discussion. The scene exudes an air of intellectual camaraderie, of minds engaged in discourse. You imagine the rustle of the scroll, the murmur of voices, and the clink of teacups as ideas are exchanged and shared. In the center of the courtyard, you spot a group of laborers seated on simple stools. Their postures are upright, their faces a study in concentration. Each is engaged in a task before them, be it a piece of cloth or a stack of papers. The air hums with quiet industry, a stark contrast to the relaxed atmosphere of the scholars in the pavilion. The workers' focus, their dedication to their craft, shines through in every movement, every stitch. You observe them without intruding, acknowledging the vital role they play in this world of refined leisure. The scene shifts, moving from the bustling marketplace to a tranquil garden. Sunlight dapples the ground through a canopy of trees, painting fleeting patterns on the polished stone paths. You navigate the winding maze of pathways, each turn revealing a new tableau of nature's artistry. Ornate stone bridges arch over trickling streams, guiding your path through landscapes that seem to shift and change with the interplay of light and shadow. As you wander, you come across a cluster of scholars gathered around a low table. Their postures are relaxed, their gazes intent as they examine a collection of chrysanthemums. These aren't just any flowers. They are prized for their delicate beauty and subtle hues, each bloom whispering tales of autumn's arrival. The scholars discuss their qualities, their words soft but animated, their shared passion for poetry evident in their gestures and tones. You pause, observing them for a moment, their camaraderie, their appreciation for the ephemeral beauty of the flowers, a sentiment echoed in many a poem through the ages. The scene transitions once more, shifting your focus to a simple yet profound aspect of daily life in the city, the act of drinking tea. But this is no ordinary tea. It is chrysanthemum tea, famed for its pale gold hue and delicate floral notes. Imagine yourself in a pavilion, sunlight filtering through the lattice windows, painting the floor in hues of amber. A scholar reclines on a carved wooden bench, a half-emptied cup resting in his hands. The tea is a pale gold, like liquid sunshine, its surface undisturbed except for the faintest tremor from a passing breeze. Its delicate aroma fills the air, mingling with the scent of orchids and distant jasmine. You take a sip, feeling the warmth spread through your throat and chest, a gentle counterpoint to the earthy labors elsewhere in the city. Each element, from the choice of tea to the setting, speaks of a life set apart, a world of leisure and contemplation. The taste of chrysanthemum tea, nuanced and refined, lingers on your palate, a reminder of the subtle pleasures that grace this existence so different from the gritty realities of the city's underbelly. Now you stand before the last scene of your journey. Here, amid the tranquil beauty of the orchid pavilions, you have witnessed a world set apart. It was a realm of quiet contemplation, of leisurely pursuits and subtle pleasures, existing in stark contrast to the hidden underbelly of the city. As you reflect on your journey, you can't help but feel the weight of the unseen labor that made this oasis possible. The sight of the privy, even screened away, served as a silent reminder of the stark realities just beyond this idyllic setting. The orchids, symbols of both duty and privilege, seemed to mock the laborer's unseen efforts. And the very act of drinking chrysanthemum tea, a luxury reserved for the elite, tasted bittersweet on your tongue. With the last note of the bouquin echoing in your ears, and the image of the laborers' focused faces imprinted on your mind, you carry both worlds within you, the grit of dawn and the hush of pavilions. Now, ready for one final reflection,